What European news has been dominating the headlines so far this week? Well, joining me now ahead of a key debt sale for two of the most troubled Eurozone nations and the closely watched ECB rate decision is Casten Brzzeski, a senior economist at ING in Brussels. Hi Casten. So Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy both met at the beginning of the week to discuss details about a greater fiscal pact, but many questions seem to remain unanswered. The markets weren't really at all surprised by this, were they?
No, markets were really not surprised. This was just, I think, that the first meeting of the year, just showing that they are still standing close together. But markets do know that that new contracts, fiscal contracts, where all Eurozone member states have to agree on, take time, and I think everyone rather wants to see a good new treaty than a hastily constructed treaty with many open questions left. I think we're going to have to wait at least until March to see the details of a new fiscal treaty.
OK, well, let's discuss another one of the many headlines to come out of Europe so far this week. This week, Fitch rating agencies said France won't be downgraded this year, and Germany will also keep hold of its AAA status, however stated that Italy actually poses the biggest risk. It's interesting to hear, as there have been talks of France being downgraded for many weeks now. But does this really provide much assurance, as they could of course still face the possibility of being downgraded by other rating agencies?
It is true. I think if you look at the second biggest economy of the Eurozone, we do know that the economy is not doing as well as other countries within the core of the Eurozone. We do know that, let's say, that the fiscal position is much worse than, for example, in Germany. And what we hear right now is simply a snapshot. A lot will depend on the presidential elections. A lot will depend on whether Sarkozy and or a new president in the second half of this year really come up with austerity measures, with structural reforms for the French economy, then show that the French economy is back on track in terms of growth, but also on track for austerity measures.
What about Italy, though? How much trouble are they really in right now?
Italy is right now, this is the breaking point, in a way the make it or break it country of the Eurozone. With the new Prime Minister, so with Mario Monti, they had a good start. It's obvious that with this technical government, they try to implement the austerity measures. They're trying to start serious business. But at the same time, this is, as in all other Eurozone countries, it's a very tricky thing, because you have to implement austerity measures at a time in which your economy is going down the drain. Italy is also facing another year with a recession, so which means Italy is clearly not out of the woods. Don't forget, Italy will have to find a lot of refinancing of its debt in the next coming months. So we will really see whether the measures taken so far, plus more measures, are sufficient to regain confidence from the investment community.
Well, we have two key debt sales later this week, one from Italy and the other from Spain. Now, Italy is planning to sell 440 billion euros in government bonds and treasury bills in 2012. Surely this is quite a daunting task ahead, given their current borrowing costs.
Exactly. This is a very, very tricky business for them, because one thing, of course, is the price, and the other one is whether there actually is sufficient demand no matter what the price is, which probably means that the role of the ECB in this entire Eurozone debt crisis story will increase and will become more important again, because if there is no demand for Italian or Spanish bonds in the next month, I think everyone will look at the ECB and to see whether the ECB is able to solve the issue.
Last month, the ECB's policy steps included cutting the main refinancing rate to 1% and the launch of 3-year loans to Eurozone banks, which seems to have eased some market tension. Market participants are widely expecting the ECB to hold rates steady on Thursday, but what are you expecting from the ECB?
We expect the ECB to stay on hold on Thursday. Obviously, we had 2 rate cuts at 2 consecutive meetings, the first 2 meetings of new President Mario Draghi. So I think right now it's time for a pause. 1% is already very low. It would not really make sense to come up with another rate cut right now. At the same time, we also saw that towards the end of 2011, at least the deterioration was slowing of the economy. economy. So yes, we are in a recessionary territory, but it does not look as badly as it did in 2008, 2009. So I think this will give the ECB room for a wait-and-see stance, at least for 1 or 2 months. Having said this, it also the ECB under Draghi looks somewhat different than the ECB under Trichet, and I think that this ECB under Draghi is much more determined to stay ahead of the curve, to be a bit more activistic than the ECB under Trichet. And this is why we expect that there will be a rate cut in the coming months, simply really to do everything the ECB can to avoid that the Eurozone economy falls into a deep recession, and at the same time, maybe also, to prepare the grounds for a fully fledged quantitative easing.
Okay, Casten, it was great to get your opinion on the matter. Thank you very much. Now stay tuned to DukascopyTV for more Hollenbeck Unleashed and Targets in Focus. But for now, goodbye.